When we do suggestions of courses on campus, we definitely show a number of them, and we diversify by department. So if you say, oh, my favorite course was evaluation of evidence in sociology, we say, here are the closest courses to that in civil engineering, in computer science, in psychology. So I think a similar approach to choice, so learners would feel like they had more agency, would be a good idea in the MOOC space. When we created that dashboard, it was for Armando Fox's course, but we didn't end up having it ready to go until the course was over. So he didn't use it during the course. We had partners at another institution who signed up to want to test it, but then we got held up in IRB because we need to have their data in order to, like emails, in order to do the whole system. So where we're at right now and why I still put, contact me to maybe do this is because I'm never very optimistic about what edX can deliver, but there's some non-zero probability that they'll be able to do enough on their end such that we don't need an IRB to have your data. And when that happens, then this communication can go on. But I would be remiss not to mention a Learning at Scale paper this year that came up with pre-concocted emails to send to learners who were predicted to drop out. This was researchers at edX, and they found a null result, that the emails did not reduce dropout. It is sad, yes, but I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that an instructor-tailored response with more variables to choose from than they had might affect dropout or other measures of learner progress. So the Explore feature is more that kind of serendipitous, helping students sort of find their passion, right? So if you took a class and you really liked it, like I said, evaluation of, oh gosh, there we go. Jeff, where's the signal? You're supposed to be looking after it. All right. So you enter evaluation of evidence in our recommendation system here, askoski.berkeley.edu. You don't need a login to use it. And it shows you one result from each department based on the closest 5 results in a department. So here's an analytics course from city and regional planning. Here's one from environmental science, policy and management. So this is the non-requirements oriented suggestion service. And then you get the closest 5 within the department of the query course. Now, if you wanted to satisfy requirements, I'm logged in as a sample student here. And when you log in, you immediately get shown your unmet general requirements. So it knows for you what you haven't satisfied yet that's unmet. It knows your major and your unmet requirements there. So if you click on ethics, it'll show you all of the ethics satisfying courses cross-referenced with the target semester that you're shopping for. And then you can click on here and go to the official course page for that course. So we do satisfy that. It's not because this is any kind of interesting machine learning. It's because students just demanded it. And we figured in order for us to show them the interesting machine learning stuff, we need to satisfy their number 1 concern. Using the same analytics that decides what courses are similar to one another, we also generate inferred keywords that aren't in the course description necessarily, but that can connect courses to one another. So students can use more novice language to search for courses. And we published on this at ECTEL conference this year. People opened the emails, so it wasn't, at least that wasn't a problem. I don't think they were able to measure if they read the email, but they knew it was opened. So I suppose if they had some added insight that the emails weren't being read, that perhaps a person's face would be more a more engaging communicator of that. I think it perhaps a more pertinent factor that might govern how well these emails work is if there are cognitive factors at play. So if you could drill down and let's say not just filter on the analytics of, let's say, only communicate to people who will not pass, but then among those people, only communicate to the people who answered 5 on quiz question 7, right? Then it's essentially the instructor creating scaffolding, right? And I think that has more promise than these emails that are premised solely on motivating learners to stay with the course, not necessarily helping them through the course. Unfortunately, we didn't publish a paper on that, but we did the beginnings of a study on that where we looked at a non-personalized message with the next step recommendation, where this one we said suggestion for you, but we tried other phrasings of that were more or less collective, like where did the recommendation come from? Is it just for you or is it for everyone? And we weren't able to find statistically significant differences in that phraseology. For the email communication, would it be more engaging? What elements of personalization might make it more engaging? Using your name just in a kind of form email? Probably not, because you receive all sorts of spam email that has your name, right? So it kind of has to ring true. And I think that's an open question. Certainly, if we said you answered 5, and that's a common answer if you are using this equation, right? Then there's the question, well, if you have that precise of a response to a given answer, why not just put that into the courseware? So I think this tool allows you to kind of blur the line between what is scaffolded help within the courseware and what is a message coming from an instructor. I think a benefit of the email option is that you could let learners reply, right? They can't ask a follow-up question to a scaffolding that appears, but they could reply to your email, and your email could be replied to some email address that ends up posting to a Google Groups account, right? So that you can have the whole instructional staff essentially reply to it like a multi-threaded discussion board. We have thought about that, but there's kind of this space where I think my lab can contribute to student success in a unique way. There's researchers like yourself, Renee Kizelczyk is kind of well known for these mindset interventions and so forth. I see that as something other labs would be better off doing. So a little outside of a data-driven purview, but if there's no reason they shouldn't be combined, right? These things together probably are additive. Here's the dashboard. Okay, so here, if you want to communicate with students predicted not to complete, so low probability of completion, select them here, and then you see what's left are students predicted to drop out and predicted not to certify. So if you want to email just those, you are now selecting 237 students, and you can send them an email here. All right, bragging, done.